You know that moment. The one where you finally stop texting first. You put your phone face down. You tell yourself you're done. Done checking their last scene. Done rereading old messages. Done trying to figure out how someone who once felt obsessed with you can suddenly feel miles away. And then the room gets quiet. Too quiet. You can hear the hum of the fridge, the sound of your own breathing, the little flicker of hope every time your screen lights up, even when it's not them. And your mind starts talking. Why did they go cold so fast? Did I ask for too much? If I stop reaching out, will they forget me? If I keep reaching out, am I just making it worse? Why does this keep happening? Here's the truth nobody tells you. The avoidant doesn't come back because you chased harder. They come back when your energy stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like safety. So no, you're not weak for caring. You're not stupid for missing them. And you're not failing at love. You're standing inside a pattern that hurts because it feels personal, even though it's deeper than that. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what makes an avoidant pull away, what secretly makes them feel your absence, and what you need to do if you want any chance of them turning back toward you without losing yourself in the process. Let's get into it. Most people believe if someone is pulling away, you need to fight harder for the connection. More effort, more reassurance, more explaining, more love. But the real truth is this. When an avoidant feels emotional intensity, their nervous system often reads it as pressure before it reads it as love. That's the part most couples never understand. Most couples think the problem is that one person cares and the other person doesn't. But beneath the surface, that's usually not what's happening at all. One person is scared of losing connection. The other is scared of losing freedom. One reaches, the other retreats. Same fear, different strategy. And when safety leaves the relationship, love doesn't always disappear. It goes underground. What looks like indifference is often overwhelm. What looks like coldness is often self-protection. What looks like "I don't care" is often a nervous system saying, "This feels like too much, and I don't know how to stay open." That's why trying harder usually backfires. Because if you increase the emotional volume without changing the emotional tone, the avoidant partner doesn't feel more loved, they feel more cornered. Not more talking, not more convincing, not one last emotional paragraph at midnight, but a completely different energy, a different presence, a different version of you. And here's what changes everything. Number 1. Stop chasing the withdrawal. Most couples see distance and immediately panic. And honestly, that makes sense. When someone you love starts pulling back, your body feels it like a threat. So you reach harder. You text more. You ask where they're at. You try to force clarity because uncertainty feels unbearable. But the deeper truth is this. Most avoidants experience pursuit as confirmation that closeness equals pressure. So the more urgently you move toward them, the more their nervous system says, "I need space." The disconnecting version sounds like this. "Why are you doing this again? Can you just tell me what's going on? I need an answer." The connecting version sounds like this. "I can feel you pulling back. I'm not going to chase you, but I'm open to a real conversation when you're ready." That lands differently. One feels like demand. The other feels like space with dignity in it. And when you do that, something unspoken shifts. Their brain starts registering, "I'm not being hunted right now." And that's the first moment the walls stop going up even higher. Number 2. Stop making your love feel like pressure. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples think love should feel obvious, constant, immediate, available all the time. But for an avoidant, constant emotional access can feel like being watched, needed, managed, or swallowed. Not because you're too much, not because your needs are wrong, but because their nervous system was shaped in a way that made closeness feel risky. So when you keep showing up with heavy emotional energy, even if your words are calm, what they often feel beneath the surface is this: I'm about to be responsible for someone else's feelings again. The disconnecting version sounds like this: I just need you to reassure me. Why is that so hard? If you cared, you'd want to talk this through. The connecting version sounds like this: I care about this connection, but I'm not here to force something out of you. If we talk, I want it to be real. Do you hear the difference? One is reaching from fear, the other is standing in self-respect. And when you shift into that energy, the relationship stops feeling like an emotional hostage situation and starts feeling like something they might actually have room to come back to. Number 3, become harder to abandon. Most people in relationships think being easy to keep is the way to be chosen. So they become more understanding, more patient, more available, more forgiving. They shrink their standards and call it love. They silence their pain and call it maturity. But here's the truth. That doesn't make you more valuable to an avoidant. It makes the cycle easier to continue. Because if they can withdraw, give you crumbs, come back halfway, and still get full access to you, then nothing in the pattern ever has to change. The disconnecting version sounds like this: It's okay, I get it. Take your time. I'll be here. Even though inside you're thinking, please don't leave me behind again. The connecting version sounds like this: I'm not available for half connection. If you want to be in my life, it has to come with honesty and consistency. That's not punishment. That's not playing hard to get. That's not some trick. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what emotional maturity looks like when someone has learned to love without abandoning themselves. And when you do that, your presence starts carrying weight. Because now your energy says, I can love you deeply, but I will not disappear inside your confusion. And that is when they start to feel what your presence actually was. Number 4, speak to the fear beneath the behavior. And this is where it gets really interesting. Most couples only react to what's happening on the surface. They respond to the silence, the delay, the distance, the coldness. But if you only talk to the behavior, you miss the wound beneath it. Most avoidants don't hear criticism as information. They hear it as rejection. Even when it's delivered calmly, even when it's fair, even when you're right. Because beneath the surface, their system is often translating your frustration into something sharper. You are failing. You are not safe here. You are about to be exposed. The disconnecting version sounds like this: You always shut down. You never open up. You make this impossible. The connecting version sounds like this: When you go quiet, I start feeling alone with you. I'm not trying to attack you. I just want to understand what's happening between us. One hits their defenses. The other reaches the human being behind them. And here's what nobody explains. When people feel less accused, they become more emotionally available. Not instantly, not perfectly, but really. That's when something in them quietly says, maybe I don't need to protect myself so hard right now. And that's the beginning of repair. Number 5. Let your absence become real. Most people think the way to make an avoidant come back is to disappear dramatically. Post the glow up, Trigger jealousy. Go silent in a way that feels calculated. Make them panic. But real longing doesn't come from games. It comes from contrast. If your old presence felt anxious, hyper-focused, and emotionally loaded, then your grounded absence will feel different in a way they can't ignore. Not louder, not colder, not manipulative, just clean. The disconnecting version is this. You vanish to get a reaction. You post things hoping they watch. You perform being over it while secretly checking every move they make. The connecting version is this. You actually return to your life. You stop orbiting their inconsistency. You stop building your day around whether they text. You stop making them the center of your emotional weather. And that lands. Because now, when they feel your absence, they don't just feel distance. They feel the absence of access, the absence of certainty, the absence of the version of you who used to always be there no matter how little they gave. And inside, a thought starts forming. Wait, they're really not chasing me anymore. That's when your absence stops feeling like silence and starts feeling like loss. Number 6. Stop rewarding breadcrumbs. This one matters. A lot. Most couples say they want a real connection, but what they keep accepting is a cycle. A late-night text, a random check-in, a little burst of warmth after weeks of distance. And because they're starving for connection, it feels like hope. But it's not always hope. Sometimes it's just relief. And relief is dangerous when you've been emotionally deprived, because you'll mistake temporary contact for real change. The disconnecting version sounds like this. They disappear for 10 days, then text, "Miss you." And you answer, "I missed you too. When can I see you?" The connecting version sounds like this. "I'm not interested in going in circles. If you want to reconnect, it needs to be consistent and real. Not angry, not bitter, not trying to punish. This isn't revenge. This is discernment. Because if you reward half love, you train the cycle to survive. But when you stop accepting crumbs, one of two things happens. Either they step up, or the truth becomes impossible to avoid. And honestly, both are gifts. Because that's the shift that turns a relationship from an emotional slot machine into something clear enough to trust. Number 7. Become the calm they didn't know how to stay with. This is the deepest part. And man, this is the part that changes everything. Most people confuse chemistry with nervous system activation. They think the chase is love, the uncertainty is passion, the push-pull is depth. But often, what they're really feeling is an old attachment pattern lighting up. Real intimacy feels different. It feels steadier, quieter, safer, more real. And for an avoidant, that kind of presence can be deeply disarming, because it doesn't give their defenses as much to push against. It's hard to run from someone who isn't chasing. It's hard to withdraw from someone who isn't trying to control you. It's hard to dismiss someone whose energy feels grounded, emotionally available, and clear. The disconnecting version sounds like this. So what are we doing? Where's this going? I need to know right now. The connecting version sounds like this. I'm open to something real, but I'm not forcing clarity, and I'm not staying in confusion. If this is going to exist, it has to exist honestly. That is powerful, because it's not desperate, it's not rigid, it's not a performance, it's presence, it's safety. It's someone whose love has structure, and something in them feels that. Maybe not immediately, maybe not with the words you want, but beneath the surface, their system starts registering, this feels different. She's not trying to trap me. He's not trying to extract something from me. This feels calm. This feels real. And that's when your energy stops feeding the old cycle and starts offering a completely different one. So if you've been asking what makes the avoidant come back, here's the answer. It's not begging, not proving, not one last perfect message, not becoming colder than them, not pretending you don't care. It's becoming someone whose presence no longer carries the energy that made the cycle possible. Someone with standards, someone with self-respect, someone who can offer connection without collapsing into longing, someone who can stay warm without becoming emotionally available to chaos, someone who understands that love without safety always turns into survival. This isn't a checklist. It's an identity shift. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop trying to be chosen by someone unavailable and start becoming the kind of person who only participates in what's mutual, honest, and emotionally real. And whether they come back or not, you win. Because now you're no longer building your life around being wanted by someone withdrawn. You're becoming someone who can recognize real connection, create real safety, and walk away from patterns that only know how to hurt you. These aren't tips to make someone miss you. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always needed yourself. The avoidant comes back when your love stops chasing and starts standing.